Okay, NetherRealm. Let me ask you something. Are you lazy? Or are you just out of ideas? Which is it? Which is it? Because, you know, I see a certain moron in the bamboo hat here that, let's be perfectly honest, nobody asked for. Even my friends, who are Mortal Kombat fans, do not want this guy in Injustice. Let's be honest, Black Adam borrows heavily from Raiden's moveset anyway. So what they're gonna do? Reinvent the wheel? Reinvent Raiden's moveset? Is that what they're gonna do? Just completely toss out Raiden's moveset and redo it so it doesn't copy so much from Black Adam? Or, you know, Black Adam copying from him, whatever. Or are they just gonna have two characters on the roster that have got the exact same playstyle? Because, if you ask me, that's a bad idea. Shall I tell you why that's a bad idea? Because it's a waste. If you have two characters that play more or less identically, there is no point to one being there. The only reason I don't complain about Swamp Thing and Ivy being in the game is because they are different enough to justify them both being in the game. They both have different ways of playing, but Raiden? Come on, seriously? One Mortal Kombat character was enough. Stop it. Okay, anyway. Shall we get on to what I liked about this pack? Oh yeah, that's right. There is nothing I like about this pack. As a matter of fact, I am going to go so far as to not even buy Combat Pack 2. But let me tell you something. Black Manta, in my god honest opinion, fights close enough to Aquaman, he could justifiably just be a premier skin. And they did say they would add more premier skins in throughout the game. And I mean, okay, they've given him... Sorry, I've just knocked my mic there. They've given him a harpoon gun, so he's probably going to play differently, but honestly, he plays different enough that with a few animation changes and a few new lines, he could easily be a premier skin. So why use another slot? And as for the middle one, Hellboy, yeah, whatever. His personality's okay, I guess, but, you know, whatever. And looking at his shoulder and the way his shoulders are structured, the silhouette with the trench coat is now completely out. That's Hellboy's silhouette. And as a consequence, we are going to have no Rorschach, no John Constantine, no any DC character wearing a trench coat, unless, of course, they've completely screwed up their silhouette. So, yeah. This just shows to me how little, the NetherRealm care about their fans. Because, hang on, just let me get rid of those. Because, you know, if Spawn was in here, by himself, with two other DC characters, I could totally forgive that. Because Spawn was pretty high, if not on top of the poll for non-Mortal Kombat guest characters. So, if Spawn was in here by himself, I could totally forgive that. But just Black Manta and Raiden... No, actually, all the characters in this I have a problem with. I mean, Manta I can forgive more so. Because Manta is a DC character. So, you know, by all right, he has his right to be in the game. He has a right to be in the game. Because, I mean, people were saying Red Hood should be a premier skin for Robin. Okay, in some incarnations Red Hood uses a sword, so you could justify that by changing a few animations round. But you know, those that are fans of the character would say that he is his own character. He has no resemblance to Robin's fighting style. So, you know, me not really being much of an Aquaman Manta fan, maybe I'm just saying that because at face value, from what I've seen, he looks to have a very similar fighting style to Aquaman. But maybe because I don't know Black Manta on that deep enough level, I don't entirely understand his fighting style. So, you know, him being a DC character I can kind of forgive, even though I do see it as a little bit wasteful. But then again, we need more Aquaman villains in the game, to be honest. But then again, quite a lot of them fight like Aquaman, so you'd have to make that sacrifice of, like, do you see it as a wasted slot, or do you see it as like having a diverse cast of DC characters? But Raiden I straight up cannot forgive. Hellboy, yeah, it's okay if you like Hellboy, or if you like the movies or the comics, but I straight up cannot forgive Raiden at all for being in this. Hellboy at a push, I think if it was Spawn, I'd probably be quicker to forgive it, because it's, again, top of the polls, and also I have seen Spawn before and stuff, and Spawn's kinda cool, but again, I'd prefer it to just be 3 DC characters flat. Because it's a DC fighting game at the end of the day. I don't buy a DC fighting game for Mortal Kombat characters. And I was originally unhappy with Sub-Zero. And I thought, you know what? Mortal Kombat 1 we had Scorpion. No, not Mortal Kombat 1. Injustice 1 we had Scorpion. And Injustice 2 we had Sub-Zero. So I'm thinking, okay, one of the Mortal Kombat ninjas each game, right? So we'll have Smoke in Injustice 3, or Cyrax, or one of the other Mortal Kombat ninjas. Or hell, we might have both Sub-Zero and Scorpion. Which would kind of knock me a bit, but you know, whatever. I think one Mortal Kombat character is enough. I think one of the ninjas would have been fine. Like, just one. Because the ninjas are the most iconic Mortal Kombat characters. Smoke, Cyborg. No, Cyborg DC character. Smoke, Sub, Scorpion, and like a couple of the female ninjas. The ninjas are the most iconic Mortal Kombat characters because they are the original Mortal Kombat characters that you had in the arcade. They are the ones everybody knew when Mortal Kombat first came out. So I can understand there being one of those in each game. But Raiden? It's a waste. It's clearly and blatantly a waste. There is no other way you can describe it. And if you were looking forward to Raiden in this game, go and buy Mortal Kombat XL. You can have all your favourite Mortal Kombat characters in that game. Or wait next year, and you'll get whatever next MK installment is. Or wait until the next MK installment. Don't come into Injustice 2 crashing the DC fans party with your stupid flippin' Raiden. And, well, you know, I honestly, I'm not even gonna buy this fighter pack. End of. Hell, I might buy Manta separately as a push, but I'm not buying. Actually, yeah, I'll buy Manta. I'll buy Manta, and I won't buy Hellboy or Raiden. Do you want to know why I'll buy Manta and not these two? Because if they see that people are buying just the DC characters, they will see that people do not give a toss for their guest characters. And let's be honest, the only reason they put guest characters in is brand recognition. Because brand recognition sells. Like, Mortal Kombat X, you had Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th. You had Leatherface from, I think, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And you had Alien and Predator. And those brands are instantly recognizable. They're instantly recognizable properties, but just Hellboy. Shall I tell you who I would have had in this fighter pack? I would have had John Constantine in the middle. I would have definitely have had Beast Boy. I'm sorry, Beast Boy's a gimme, because, like, you know, I'm pretty sure most DC fans would have my innards if I didn't say Beast Boy, but I don't care much for Beast Boy. He could be in Fighter Pack 3, but you know, I think yeah, I'd go with Beast Boy being in Fighter Pack 3. I'd have Rose Wilson or Ravager, and I would also pick. I would pick to have. Yeah, I'd have John, Rose Wilson, and oh god, hell, I'd take something stupid like Alfred over this. Yeah, you heard me right. I would take Alfred Pennyworth over Raiden. Actually, no, Manta, Rose Wilson, and let me think. Let me think of a good DC villain. All the Flash villains are about the same, so not a Flash villain. Ah, shit. Ra's al Ghul. Yeah, Ra's. Ra's could easily be a premier skin, but I'd take him as a character over guest characters. Honestly. Hell, I'd take a legacy character like Manhunter or... well, you could even argue Rose could easily be made a legacy character if they just copy and paste her father's moveset from the previous game and just give it a new look. And, you know, I'd totally dig a Deathstroke premier skin if they added Rose Wilson in. It's like a Deathstroke premier skin, so you have both of them. But I think most people would probably run the Deathstroke premier skin simply because Deathstroke's the more well-known character. But, I'd take legacy characters over this. Okay, Manta, I'd keep Manta in, because there are some people that want Manta. And I'm not entirely sure why, but then again I don't read Aquaman, so yeah. This guy's has been a bit ranty. Sorry, but Hellboy, it's a love letter to people who like those comics, but it doesn't belong in this game. I mean, I'd accept Spawn at a stretch, but just a fighter pack with 2 guest characters and 1 mere DC character. It's I think this is going to be the one that sells the worst. Or with this, what you'll see is people will buy Manta and Hellboy, but not Raiden. That's what you'll find. I think you'll find people will buy Hellboy and Manta, and not a lot of people will buy Raiden. I think that's what you'll find. Especially if they show his moveset off and he looks very similar to if they show his moveset off and he looks very similar to Black Adam, I think a lot of people just won't bother buying Raiden. They'll just buy Hellboy and Manta, and then you'll have some who can't be asked to pay separately, and they'll just buy Pack 1, and you know, and then you've got the MK fans that will buy Raiden. But then again, most of the MK fans will probably see these guys. Most of the MK fans will just buy whatever, and those that have bought the Ultimate Edition will get all 3 anyway. But I think you'll probably find some of them won't download them. Which, you know, I've even heard YouTubers say that they would prefer not to buy them, but they have no choice because they are YouTubers. Like, you know, I heard one YouTuber say he'd buy Manta, but the rest he wouldn't buy, but he's a YouTuber, so he's got his hands tied. And he even said he can probably hear NetherRealm laughing at him because of that. Because, you know, but at the end of the day, I'm not gonna buy. I'm definitely not gonna buy 2 of these. I might buy Manta. Or I might just save myself some money and not buy any of these. And I'll wait to see who's in Fighter Pack 3. But this is who I would have had. To recap, John, Rose, and Beast Boy, or Manta in this pack. But you know what? I honestly just think this just shows to me how little NetherRealm cares, because we have been screaming at them since day 1 for Beast Boy. Hell, Red Hood and Beast Boy and Starfire, those 3 were screamed for the loudest. But where the hell is Beast Boy? My answer to you, he probably won't be present. We'll probably have to wait till Injustice 3. Yes, they will pull a Red Hood on us. What they did with Red Hood in the first game, they will do with Beast Boy. I guarantee you. Injustice 3, Beast Boy will be DLC. They'll pull a Red Hood. With Injustice 3. Injustice 3, everybody will be screaming for Beast Boy again, just like they were with this game. And they'll tease him in a little book to make you think he's going to be in the main game. Then they'll do all the announcement trailers, he won't be in it. Then they'll drop the DLC trailer the day before it releases. And then Beast Boy will be stood next to whoever else is in the other two in the DLC. That is what's going to happen. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. Every single last one of you, I bet you that's what's going to happen. They're giving us two of the characters we wanted, and they've said, okay, you two, you've had your two DC characters you really want, your two beloved DC characters you really want, you've had them. Beast Boy for Injustice 3, lads. Yeah, make note of that. I think if we're lucky, we might get John. If we're lucky, but like I say, the guy wearing the trench coat's gone. Hellboy's the guy in the trench coat. And honestly, my biggest fear right now is that the next fighter pack's just going to be two guest, one DC. That's my worst nightmare right now, that it's going to be Spawn, it's going to be another MK character nobody wants, and it's going to be, I don't know, maybe Beast Boy, if the stars align, but I doubt it, but probably like John. Probably John Constantine, because I can see them working him up as a zoner, which I don't really like. I don't get me wrong, I want to see John in this game, but at the same time I don't want to see him, because he's not really a fighter. He's a guy who uses his whip more. I think what would be good for John is if he was in the story as an NPC, and he talks his way out of stuff in typical Constantine fashion. I don't think it would be good for him to actually be a playable fighter. Even less so for him to be a zoner, because he's just going to get the same amount of hate Dr. Fate and Deadshot got. And even then, that would be another magic zoner. So most people would take the attitude, why is John in the game when we already have Fate? So it would be pretty redundant, I think. So we'll probably get another Mayor DC character that, like, you know, was a bit lower on the polls than others. Hell, I think we might get Croc, because Croc was a stage transition, just like Manta. So I think next fighter pack I'm predicting right now is going to be Croc, Spawn, and it's going to be an MK character, just random MK character. I'm predicting it right now. I'm not saying I want this, but that's what we're going to get. Because that's what's cheapest for them to do. Because an MK character they can just port from a previous game. Like I guarantee you they've done with Raiden. I guarantee you he's just a port from MKX or MK9. I guarantee you he's just a port with a new look. Hellboy, yeah, he might have took time to do. But he's a guest character. And he wasn't even that high up on the list. I think he was like 3rd or 4th in the non-MK guest poll. You know, so I don't even think he was that high up. So, or the third fighter pack could just be the other top 3. Another 3 from the non-MK guest pack. Because if you remember, the one fighter pack in Mortal Kombat X was Jason, Leatherface, Alien. So my worst nightmare right now is the last DLC pack after this is just going to be 3 guest characters. And if that happens, I'm not buying it. I don't care if Spawn's in it. I don't care if they pull the greatest guest character out of the bag ever. Hell, I don't care if Snake Eyes is in it. I'm not buying it. You heard me say it right there. If Snake Eyes is in it. Hell, if Bond is in it. Bond, Bourne, Vader. I love these characters I'm listing off, but if they show up in the next fighter pack, I'm not buying it. Like, you know, what's the bet now? I think what they should do, and what people want, is for the DLC pack after this to be 3 DC characters. John, Beast Boy, and another DC character that we've been asking for. And not one that came at the bottom of the poll with 2%. One we've actually genuinely been asking for. I'm not saying Manta came that low. Hell, I don't remember where Manta came in his poll. I think for a fact it was... I know it was below Jason and Starfire. No, it was below Starfire. Yeah, he was below Starfire. Jason and Starfire weren't in the same poll. Jason was in a poll separate, where it's like, what version do you want of Red Hood? Joker or... And you know, what really disgusts me is the polls didn't make up who went into the actual game, it made up the DLC. So, I had this fear from day one that the polls were just gonna be... Okay, we have the characters set already for the game. Who can we make the most money out of for DLC? So they do these polls, and then they, all the characters you wanted are DLC, so it's more money on top of the money you've paid already. Yeah, it's a disgusting business tactic, but people use it. If it's gonna sell, they'll charge for it. It's, you know, NetherRealm is a business. They're there to make money. That's all they care about. They don't care if you like it. They just care about the cold hard cash in their bank account at the end of the day. That's the end of it. That's all there is to say. And most companies are like that. Activision, hell, even Crytek. Pains me to say it, but Crytek were like it. They added microtransactions in as well to Crysis. So, you know, at the end of the day, they want the money. That's all they care about. It's what keeps them afloat. So yeah, I'm sorry. That's all. That's all I can say. So I'm sorry. That'll be it.